Season 12 is winding down. The day this video gets posted is the last day as we prepare for Season 13, Spellbinder. But what I want to do, and I'm going to be doing this every single season, is I'm going to do a retrospective. I am going to run us through what was this season about, what did I like about this season, what didn't I like about this season, how were the metas this season, stuff like that. We're going to go down memory lane for the past 2 months here. Starting out with Juno. Juno is the first thing that we can talk about. And, you know, we'll go ahead and talk all things Juno here. So as a character design, I think everyone really likes playing her. I think a lot of people are not frustrated with Juno herself, but I've talked about this a little bit already. She's an enabler, and she has enabled a couple of metas and characters that are maybe not so fun. So while Juno is a fun character that, you know, supports get to play Juno and they get to play the new character and she's really good and she's really fun, it has created some metas that are frustrating. DPS are pretty underpowered at this point because the tanks are so good with the speed ring. Juno just does a lot of numbers, healing, and damage while her team takes slower brawls because they just play around the speed. I say slower brawls, but they get to go super duper fast. So it's like contained brawls, if that makes more sense. They play around the speed ring, refresh the speed ring value, keep it up. You get so much speed value, more than you should get, I think, with the amount of numbers that she does. I've talked about what I want to see from her changed for next season in another video, which I'll link. But I think Juno overall was a success, and this character is technically the problem in the meta, in my opinion, but a couple of tweaks will make her come back down to earth. No pun intended. And hopefully we will all I think we still think very highly of this character. I don't think, even with this meta, we think that she's like bad or ruining the game. People think that Diva and Ori were ruining the game. It's because of her. She's the rat bastard that did this. So, I hope everybody understands that she's really the reason that we're here. But that is Juno. Very, very positive on Juno. Very great addition to the support roster. Awesome. Let's talk about the Battle Pass and the Mythic skin. This was Egyptian mythology, which is a really, really good theme on paper. I just think it was a little underutilized overall. The Mythic is sick. I love this Mythic. I think it looks really, really good, especially when he gets those extra flare options on the final level. And the TP when he goes into the sand. Oh, it's so cool. Of course, a lot of people were mad that Ramatra didn't get a skin. Of course, Venture didn't get a skin with the Egyptian archaeology stuff. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. Ramatra, I think Ramatra is like making a skin for Ashe, right? Where you're not just making a skin for Ramatra, making a skin for Nemesis mode. You're not making a skin for Ashe, you're making a skin for Bob too. So it's a lot of work to make a skin for Ramatra. And I bet that the skins that they have made for him probably haven't sold as well. So they haven't made many yet because he's been a little sorely lacking in the skins department recently. He should get some soon because I think most of, if not all of them, are pretty good. Because it's hard to mess up that concept of like the transforming character. I guess he did get the Megatron, but kind of collab skins are kind of like a different beast, I feel like. But yeah, disappointing on who got the skins and of course kind of what skins were there. But a couple good ones overall, and the Mythic was, of course, really, really sick. There was also, don't forget the mini theme, like the heist skins. I got really close to buying that soldier skin. I thought it was really sick. But I ended up not doing it because I don't play soldier. But I thought it was really, really cool. And this Echo skin I think is really good. And this Doom skin's okay. I think Doom's got a lot better skins. But mid-year competitive updates. So, of course, we got a rank reset and all of that. And they also kind of changed it so that it's a little easier to get champion and a little easier to go all the way down to bronze 0. Bronze 5 it would be. I couldn't remember which way, up or down. I guess. Also, we got more avoid slots and stuff like that. Pretty good competitive season overall. I had a lot of fun playing in this season. And I think when they reset it and they give you more goals and you just get more accurate like ranking, at least it feels like, you know, it's more updated. There's not as much, it still uses the data, but I don't know, it feels more updated. It's a psychology thing. Not much has changed, but it feels good. I like it. Twice a year, totally down for it, you know? Hero balance. We'll talk about that later when we go through the patch cycle. Clash. The Clash video I made is the highest viewed video on my channel. But I am going to talk about Clash again because it's been a while and it's been a hot topic. And Clash does, unfortunately, kind of suck. I've played it a lot. We've all played it a lot. We played it a lot at the beginning of the season. Don't forget that. It was in rotation more often on 2 different maps. You're just playing these maps over and over again. Some of the maps are fine. I think Anubis First is fine. I don't like Hanaoka very much. I don't like either of them that much. But the mode itself just lends itself really weird. You never know where you are. You never know what's going on. It's not worth it to push the final points. There's always something happening everywhere. You're never taking full fights, it feels like. It just doesn't feel like Overwatch it sometimes. And they did make a couple changes, very small changes to try and fix it a little bit, but there will be more in Season 13. Maybe not right away, but sometime in Season 13, we are going to get some Clash changes, which hopefully we'll see pretty soon. But I don't have to be the first one to tell you that Clash has not gotten off to a strong start, unfortunately. What I will say, no more game modes, Blizzard. Overwatch 1 went the entire cycle without getting any new game modes. And it didn't need to, because the maps were what carried, right? Now, of course, we still got like Horizon and Paris and a couple of... I don't think Eichenwald is very good. And that one actually got reworked, fun fact. Busan is not one of my favorite maps ever. Like, they were... Havana... I could probably keep going. But, you know, not great. But you don't need all these game mode types. Now you have to know these game modes, and now you have to keep it updated. And Flashpoint still only has 2, and Push has only gotten 4 since it came out 2 years ago. So it's hard to keep up with all of these. And, you know, like, even the newer game modes, it's hard. Like, there's been multiple control maps, but barely any... Has there even been a hybrid map since the game came out? Overwatch 2 came out? I don't think so. So, I don't know. It's hard to justify, I think, continuing to add competitive game modes every year. So, let's stop. I think we should stop. Focus on fleshing out the roster of these new game modes. And maybe, just maybe, some of these game modes could be taken out of competitive rotation. I'm just saying. Do we have to 2CP? I mean, Clash is new. They're going to make a lot of changes to it, but I wouldn't be opposed to trying to maybe take some of these out of rotation, some of these map types out. I don't hate Flashpoint. I don't like Clash very much, and I really don't hate Push. I think Push is fine. But that's kind of what I think, but not really the topic of this video. Blah, blah, blah. Game Pass we are going to talk about because that didn't happen right away. So other things, these are the competitive updates. They went into it more in depth. I talked about it. We'll talk about drives in a little bit later. Wave respawns. This system has been generally positive, I think. And honestly, it's pretty trackable. Although there's a little bit of clutter trying to stagger people, but in overall, I think this has been fine. Although there are a couple game modes and a couple situations where I'm like, oh my God, man. Can we stop? Can people stop coming all the time? And they're always here, and it's always a full team fight. And I don't know, it feels like sometimes you actually get punished for winning a fight because, let's say, you know, you kill a couple early, you finish off the staggers, but you trade a little, right? It punishes you more for trading, even if you win the fight. Like, even if you win the fight, you should be in like a you know, advantage or at least neutral. But then, like, their team gets a whole core together faster than your team can get a core together because of the wave response. There's no like trickling in and you just kind of come in at a full team at the same time. The losing team might get a full team in before you guys get your full team in. That doesn't quite make a lot of sense to me, in my opinion, if somebody catches wave and stuff. So yeah, there's a couple of pain points here, but overall, I think it's fine. I don't care about it too much, apart from, you know, here and there. And of course, they made a couple of changes to, like, Flashpoint has like a boost pad out of it now, which honestly you can't really feel even with the updated changes from the mid-season. So yeah, a couple of quality of life changes, but I think a little more is on the way. There needs to be defense matrix, couple of cheating things, I guess. I didn't even realize this happened. Optimizing in-match reporting, that was nice for the scoreboard, but honestly, I haven't even used it that much. And apparently for streamer mode, you need to have played like a bunch of games for it to activate. So you can't just get on like a streamer mode and troll on an alt or something like that. Sure, I guess. Not too much to go over there. The Overwatch League shop is going to close. They will not be selling these things after December something, probably at the end of this season. And the shop will stay open until the end of 2025. And most of the Overwatch League skins have come back. And that's kind of it. So there's a bunch of things. If you never got the chance to get them, now you can. Good for you. You can actually use big coins as well. Big coins. It sounded like I said bitcoins, but premium currency as well. So nothing too bad there. I will say though, again, I would like to use my coins now. I don't want to wait until 2025 for it to be converted into some mystery currency. I have 6,000 of them. I would like to use them on something. I don't want to buy all 20 prideful Reinhardts for every character. I would like something substantial to use them on. That's just kind of my take, because it felt like, oh, it's the Overwatch League celebration, but even I'm the one who was dedicated enough to watch the streams for years and years as they went on, and I'm not really celebrating because I've had these skins for years and years as they've come out. So I don't know, felt a little flat for me, but it's still a good thing. It's still a very good thing to get these skins to more people. All right, this is the mid-season, and we're not going to talk about balance here because we'll talk about that when we go over the patches. But they talked about how Juno is performing fine, and they did not change Juno in the mid-season, which I think was a bit of a mistake. Maybe a bit of a mistake, because somebody else creeped their way up into the meta because of Juno and the changes they made. Also, they lined out a bunch of stuff, changes for Clash that will be coming, but most of them didn't really make it. They just changed a couple spawn stuff, and that will be coming in Season 13. But yeah, there's not much more to say about the mid-season patch. We will get there in a second. Another big thing, Overwatch 2 is coming to Xbox Game Pass. I'm an avid Game Pass subscriber because I use it all the time. I get a very, very good value out of it because I play a lot of games. It kind of pays itself off. And, when my friends convince me once a year to play one game of ARAM, I can roll from the entire pool of champions in League, and now I get Overwatch rewards, which is great. Their selections of skins here, great selection, by the way. I think this is like really, really good. 2 epics. I already had the B one because I got like the bundle to buy the battle pass that season. This Lifeweaver skin's really good, and I was actually really mad that I didn't get it. Now I have it permanently. I think this Hanzo skin is decent. I like it. I've been using it just because I have it now. I think Turtle Ship Diva is super underrated. I like this one a lot. And of course, Cardboard Reinhardt, I don't have to tell you, is amazing. Very good skin. Awesome that they included this in this bundle too. I think it actually was to get people to subscribe to Game Pass, because this is a seller, I think. But some weird quirks with this one. In order to get your rewards, you have to launch Overwatch through Game Pass, which just opens the Blizzard client, and then you go through Game Pass there. But the other thing that you get from and you got 30 mythic prisms as well to hold. And if you're like me and you just get all the, the full tiers of all the mythic skins every season, 30 mythic prisms is like just sitting there. There's nothing for me to use it on. I can't buy a mythic weapon because they're 50. So like, it's kind of worthless to me. It's just going to be sitting there for a while. But what I wanted to point out here is that the past 3 seasons stuff. So basically, when you have Game Pass, you get access to most of the shop skins from the past 3 seasons. Regardless, like, you get to use them. It's not even like a shop where you get to buy them. You just get to use them whenever you want. You have to launch the game through Game Pass through Blizzard. Now, if I use the Blizzard client, I wouldn't care. But I use Steam because I like that Steam tracks my hours, right? So I actually don't really get access to this benefit, unfortunately. I don't care that much because odds are if I didn't get a skin, I probably didn't want it. So who cares that I don't get to use this random Hanzo skin? But if you didn't have Game Pass, that's a weird quirk about that. If you're like me and you're in this very specific situation, not really a big fan of that. I wish I didn't have to go through the launcher to get that. I wish it was just in my account temporarily. There might be a tech thing around it, but you know. All right, World of Warcraft. This collab was really underwhelming to me. I think the skins are fine. I don't care about Warcraft. Heads up. But for a Blizzard property, there was nothing to this. There was no game mode. There was no free skin to get people into the event and playing. I felt really, really wet noodle about this one. If you like the skin, sure. But like one of them's a recolor, and like this is a perfect free skin to give people. A skin that's been in the game forever and ever. I don't know. I think I wish there was more. Oh, look at that. I forgot about this when I was making my my rundown. The anniversary event. They did no fanfare. There's nothing to it. It's really like, I talked about this in my whole video, but the anniversary event was really underwhelming this season. And even here, it's just like at the bottom of this World of Warcraft collab, they're also like, hey, don't forget it's the anniversary of Overwatch. Like, why are they so forgetful about it or shamed about it? Like, probably because they don't have anything, unfortunately. I think the beginning of the season was good, but I think the end of the season started petering off. I don't know. It was coming to a bit of a whimper, you know, not out with a bang, but a bit of a whimper, unfortunately. And of course, I just did a video on the drives. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but underwhelming, not a great rollout, weird stipulations with it. Interesting idea, needs to be longer. It needs to actually go for like a week and a half or two so people can play it at the end of the season, right? And make the reward a little more enticing so that people actually play. Couple of things that could go a decently long way. But that is it, I think, for all the things. I'm not going to talk about the My Hero collab because that's for next season. But let's talk about the patch notes. I'm not going to go through every single little thing here about the balance for characters. We're going to talk about the greatest hits. So D.Va got nerfed a little bit, but she was still really, really good because she was really good with Juno, and her micro missile damage did not get nerfed at all. So she was exploding people. That was where this came from. This meta came from. Oh my god. This was really rough, especially for DPS. You could not play hit scan in this meta. It was crazy. This was really rough meta for about a month. D.Va was just bugged out, apparently, flying through these speed rings, going Mach 10. Oh, it was kind of unbearable, unfortunately. It's been dealt with, thank God, but yeah, not very fun. Orisa, this is one of the changes that would make her super good because this increases her burst. And at this time, without her movement speed penalty being lower, she couldn't really follow up on that, right? And we didn't really quite understand how good Juno was when this change was made, but we'll be back for Ori. We'll be talking about her in a second. Zarya got a right-click change. I don't really understand why it didn't really do much. I think it was just to get it back up to what it was pre-season 9, but like, not a super big fan. Oh, that's right. 225. We got characters that were 225 HP, and I really like this change. I really like these changes because it makes the mobile characters more higher risk, high reward, and on paper, more skillful overall. You have to be much more conscious about what you're doing. It nerfs some of these really big characters without taking away options, without making them feel worse. Very, very good changes. And I really like that a couple characters like Hanzo got one-shots against the characters that are much more of a threat to them, right? So if you die of Hanzo, there's more risk to it because he's still at a disadvantage, right? But he can still fight back. But if he's just spamming a choke, which the mobile characters shouldn't be there, then if he dinks somebody, they're not going to die, right? So it's this nice middle ground of the people he can one-shot and the people that he can't one-shot. I really like this dynamic. We'll talk about why it went away. This Junkrat change is whatever. The Sojourn change just made her better, but she's still worthless because she's not Cass and she's not Ashe. She doesn't have the consistent hit scan damage like they do. which is not a great thing, right? Sombra became really annoying for a little bit of time, and they did end up nerfing her. Virus total damage, but this was just a pain in the ass, even if she wasn't very good. Overall, just more Assassin Sombra, not very fun. Oh, you know what I missed, by the way? I missed the big stuff, didn't I? Oh, wait, no, it's not in this. Was it not? Okay, never mind. That's in the mid-season. We'll talk about that later. Tor, we got some armor, sure. Ilyari, her... Now, Ilyari, remember, was really, really good the prior season, and this was just like a slap on the wrist change. Ilyari was not going to be going anywhere with these changes. She was much better hit scan than most of the other hit scans, right? So we'll talk about Ilyari in just a second. And of course, Juno, they made a couple of really weird changes to her, but that made her not as fun. But don't worry, there were a couple changes that made her good, like the orbital ray getting faster. That definitely mattered a lot. And this change getting reverted eventually, which we'll talk about. Kiri, Kunai, overall more consistent, just as skillful. I'm not too worried about it. Lifeweaver got a bit of a rework that didn't really do much, but on paper, it's a good idea to let him do more damage while he's healing up. I don't want to make his healing even higher, but his damage is so bad. Like, they could probably let his heal charge up a little faster when you're firing. Because his healing, I mean, his damage is just so bad. You're not doing so much high numbers. I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe they just up his damage a little bit. I wouldn't be opposed to that either. But a good direction for Lifeweaver, although a little disappointing. I was wanting to see a little more. Mercy damage boost. We were scared of this, but it really didn't do anything. Moira, Lucio. Lucio got an insane damage buff. I totally forgot about this. Very, very nice. Very good for Lucio. I'm glad they did this. And since he hasn't been meta this season, they probably won't nerf it next season. So that's great. A couple quality of life stuff for Juno, but she just came out. It's not as, what's it called? I don't have to touch it that much. Okay, hotfix patch. Tracer got nerfed a little bit. Didn't really matter. She's still very good. Ilyari got nerfed. This one mattered. This one actually did matter. And when Hitscan started phasing out because D.Va was getting better, Ilyari just disappeared from the meta. This was a really, really big change that needed to happen. And Juno got her damage increased, and her glide boost is on a way lower cooldown. I wonder if that's actually going to get nerfed too. Although I don't think that's quite the problem with her, I can feel like they might think that's a problem with her. These were fine changes, but these did not make Juno any better than she was. Those are going to come in the mid-season. Although I think people were figuring out Juno was way better than we thought, right? So next, we're going to September here. Let me see. So is there another one that I'm missing? September 3rd, another one. Winston randomly got nerfed for no reason. Although I will say, at the beginning of the season, you could not peel Winston away from you. It was kind of crazy. So I do understand this one before the mid-season patch, so I'll give this one a pass. Ashe was nerfed because she was pretty good. Sombra virus damage got nerfed, thank God, because it was just annoying. And this is what made Juno way more appealing, because we weren't playing Juno quite yet until this patch. Fire rate increase reverted, and overall the buffs were these are all like these come out to higher numbers than they were previously, DPS and healing PS wise. So Juno is a demon. Juno became a demon. We figured out how to play with Juno, and that was there. And we were playing with D.Va for a month, right? And then we get hit by the next one. So, and Ramattra. D.Va and Ramattra were really good with Juno, right? Armor got nerfed, which I don't think this mattered too much, because it's just 10 to 7. I think it needs to be touched more. I really don't like how armor functions right now. The knockback resistance was really big, especially for D.Va, right? Which D.Va also got nerfed because they fixed the interaction with Speed Ring with D.Va so that she doesn't go nearly as fast. She doesn't go as fast and can be knocked back more. So she was cooked. She really could not keep up anymore, at least on all maps, right? And she lost a little bit of armor, but that's not really much. This is why we're here today, because Juno's really good, super enabler character, and she can eliminate Orisa's weakness with Fortify. She can completely eliminate it. And you just have this unstoppable demon running down your back line. Nothing you can do about it. You cannot. And she's getting so much healing from her Juno. Crazy. Crazy good. I don't have to be the one to tell you that, because Ori is a bit, Juno's the problem. Ori was a little less of the problem, but, there's a reason we're here in the first place. Hog got a buff, but it doesn't matter because he doesn't work with, he's not good into Ori, and he doesn't work with Juno very well. Sigma is better into Brawl with this change. We haven't really seen the repercussions of this yet because he's also not very good with Juno. Same thing with Bastion. He's better against squishies, not really much better against tanks. A good change, I think. Cass just does insane damage with flashbangs. Now he's a closer range threat than he was, which I honestly think is probably a good change. And it doesn't stun as much, so I'm not too upset about this. I think this is good. I don't like that Hanzo can now one-shot everybody. I really like the dynamic that they have with the 225s. They disagree. I get it, I guess, but now he just feels worse to play, and he's lost a lot of his stuff. And he's worse to play against. Like, this is net negative for everybody. I'm not too sure about this change. I forgot to talk about Venture with the health changes, because they missed the health changes, although they definitely shouldn't have. They ended up getting a shield health change here. I personally thought that Venture was so strong at the mid-season, or in the beginning of the season, that they needed to go to 225 and just have this shield regen. Because then at 225, they are at risk of getting one shot or losing a lot more damage. But then they would have to use one of their abilities to prevent that from happening. I thought that would be an interesting dynamic. They decided to go this route. Still gets the job done. Venture not nearly as oppressive as they were at the beginning of the season. Moira got a coal buff, which I don't think, again, since we're in Juno meta, we haven't seen the ramifications of quite yet, but be on the lookout for Moira. Lifeweaver just got more ammo, so you can fire more before having to swap over. Really, really small change, not really too much. Zen ended up in a Juno meta, not as good, but if Juno gets nerfed, watch out for Zen next season, because this is a really, really massive change for him. And I wouldn't be surprised if, something comes of this, right? Where Zen is now really, really good because he can do that damage, and Discord is, less of a cooldown. He's going to be more consistent, which is going to be really, really good for him. October, I don't think we had any balance patch changes. So that's it. And that is the end of season 12. Overall, my idea was that it was more positive than I thought it was, but I think we were in some decently not fun metas. The beginning was good. I think it was a strong beginning, and it didn't end very well. As we started figuring out the meta, I think we were all kind of like, we're over the diva, we're over the Ori. Time to get these characters out of here. But overall, the season was okay. I think I had a lot of fun. I played a lot of ranked this season, mainly because of the rank reset, but still, I did play a lot of ranked this season. And I had fun with Overwatch, although I'm a bit of a rager. Sorry. It's my nature. I get mad. I get mad at ranked. Anyways, that is all I have for this video. But you should subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much. I just hit 1,000 subs. And since I hit 1,000 subs, I'm going to do an AMA on my YouTube channel. Please join my Discord. Ask Lane is the category. Ask me any of your burning questions about Overwatch or not. Anything you want to know, I'm happy to answer. Please. And this was streamed live, twitch.tv/Lane Hemingway. That is going to be Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays is when I stream. I will be live on Tuesday at the season launch, although I won't be live until a little later in the day, like 6 or 7 EST. But, I've got stuff going on. I gotta vote. I gotta do my civic duty. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day.